The first blade never touched her. It struck the floor beside the throne, hard enough to crack stone older than cities. The sound echoed through the chamber like a warning bell that arrived too late. The queen rose halfway from her seat, instinct screaming before her mind understood. Her court had gone silent. Too silent. No gasps. No cries. No loyal guards stepping forward. Then the second blade came. This one cut deep. It slid under the edge of her ceremonial armor and bit into her side. Pain flared, hot and shocking. Blood spilled across white crystal steps, bright and impossible to miss. She turned, expecting to see an enemy. Instead, she saw her council. Faces she had trusted for decades. Advisors who had sworn life bonds. Generals who had knelt before her clutching banners soaked in shared victories. None of them moved. Some would not meet her eyes. Others watched with calm focus, like surgeons observing a necessary cut. Understanding hit harder than the wound. This was not chaos. This was not panic. This was a plan. Why? She asked, her voice steady only through training. A queen did not beg. Not yet. No one answered. A third blade flew. She twisted aside. It grazed her shoulder instead of her throat. Her balance failed. She stumbled down the steps, claws scraping stone slick with her own blood. Only then did the guards move. Not toward her. Away. They stepped back as one, clearing a path not for escape, but for death. The chamber doors remained open. Not to help her flee, but to let the act finish cleanly. The queen laughed once. A broken sound. Soft. Almost sad. So this was how it ended. Not with invasion. Not with war. But with silence and turned backs. She ran. Not like a ruler. Not like a symbol. Like a wounded animal. Her feet struck marble halls she had commissioned. Past murals painted in her honor. Her blood smeared across her own legacy. Alarms never sounded. Security fields never rose. Every system that should have protected her remained quiet. That was the cruelest truth of all. She reached a side corridor used only by servants and maintenance drones. Her vision blurred. Her breath came sharp and uneven. Each step pulled pain through her body like fire through dry grass. She pressed a hand to her side. It came away soaked. Too much blood. She knew the signs. Her species healed quickly, but not from this. Not without treatment. Not alone. She staggered through a final door and collapsed into darkness. When she woke, the air was cold. The corridor was narrow, unfinished. Bare metal walls. No banners. No lights beyond dim emergency strips along the floor. She dragged herself forward, leaving a dark trail behind her. Each movement was slower than the last. Her mind drifted, unanchored. She remembered her first oath. The day she was crowned. The crowd roaring her name. The promise she made, to protect them, even from themselves. She wondered which promise had made them decide she had to die. Her strength failed near a storage junction, far from the heart of the palace. Far from witnesses. Far from history. She slumped against the wall and slid down. Her breathing grew shallow. The pain dulled, replaced by a heavy numbness. That frightened her more than the blades. She laughed again. Quieter this time. So, she whispered to no one, "This is enough." Her eyes closed. Footsteps echoed. Not many. Just one set. Slow. Careful. She forced her eyes open, expecting a final assassin. Instead, she saw something impossible. A human. Not armored. Not armed. No royal markings. Just simple clothing stained with oil and dust. A worker. A visitor. Someone who clearly did not belong anywhere near a dying queen. He froze when he saw her. His eyes widened, not with hunger or ambition, but shock. Fear followed. Then something else. Concern. He knelt without thinking. "Hey," he said softly, as if speaking to a hurt animal. "You're bleeding. Bad." She stared at him, confused. The universe narrowed to his face and the sound of his voice. A human. Here. Alive. She should have laughed. Or threatened him. Or ordered him to kneel. She had no strength for any of it. "Go," she murmured. They will kill you. He shook his head, already tearing fabric from his sleeve. Not leaving you like this. She watched his hands press against her wound, clumsy but determined. Warm. Steady. Tears blurred her vision. She hated them. You should, she said. There is no reward. He looked at her then. Really looked. I know. Her strength drained away. The last of her pride followed. Her voice dropped to a whisper meant only for him. Human, she said, breath shaking, just let me die. And in that narrow corridor, far from thrones and courts, the galaxy held its breath, without knowing it yet. The human did not let go. He pressed harder against the wound, even when dark blood soaked through the cloth and over his hands. He had never seen blood like this before, thicker, darker, with a faint metallic scent, but pain was pain, and bleeding was bleeding. That much was the same everywhere. Stay with me, he said, voice tight. Please. The queen's eyes fluttered. Her breathing was shallow now, uneven. Each breath sounded like it might be her last. Why, she whispered, not accusing, just tired, are you here? He swallowed. Maintenance. Lower sectors. I wasn't supposed to be up near the palace, but one of the lift rails glitched. I was rerouting power. She gave a weak, humorless sound. So even in death, my empire fails at small things. He almost smiled. Almost. Then her head slumped forward, and panic snapped through him. No, hey. No, don't do that. Look at me. He gently touched the side of her face, unsure if that was allowed, unsure if anything was allowed anymore. Her skin was cool. Too cool. He activated his wrist unit with shaking fingers. The screen flickered, then displayed a warning. Unauthorized medical emergency detected. Alerting security. Cancel. Cancel, he hissed. The unit paused, then complied. He stared at the screen in disbelief. The palace systems had ignored her screams, but were ready to alert guards for him. That told him everything he needed to know. He lowered his voice. Okay. Okay. We're not calling them. Her eyes focused on him again, sharper now despite the pain. You understand, she murmured. Enough, he said. Someone wants you dead. She nodded once. A tiny movement. Everyone who mattered. The words carried no anger. Just fact. He tore more fabric from his clothes, working fast, hands clumsy but stubborn. He wrapped, pressed, adjusted. It wasn't enough. He knew it wasn't enough. You need a medbay, he said. Or a healer. Something. There is no one left I trust, she replied. And no time. Her breathing hitched. She clenched her jaw, forcing herself to stay awake. Human, she said again, firmer now. Listen to me. This is not your war. You owe me nothing. If you help me live, they will hunt you. Quietly. Forever. He didn't answer right away. He looked around the corridor. Bare walls. Emergency lights. No cameras he could see, but that didn't mean they weren't there. Then he looked back at her. She was enormous compared to him, even wounded. A being who ruled worlds. Who commanded fleets. And yet here she was, bleeding on a cold floor, betrayed by her own people. Alone. I'm not a soldier, he said slowly. I'm not important. Nobody would notice me disappearing. That is why you are dangerous, she replied. You do not see the trap. He exhaled sharply through his nose. I see it. He tightened the wrap one more time, then did something she did not expect. He sat down beside her. Not kneeling. Not bowing. Sitting. At eye level. If I walk away, he said, I live with that. And I don't think I'm good at living with things like that. Her gaze searched his face, as if looking for deception. For ambition. For fear. She found none. Only stubborn resolve and quiet terror, poorly hidden. You are strange, she said softly. He let out a short laugh. Yeah. I get that a lot. He glanced at his wrist unit again, fingers hovering. There are human channels. Old ones. Not tied into palace systems. Emergency protocols we never shared. Her eyes widened slightly. You kept them secret. We learned early, he said. Not everything survives transparency. She closed her eyes, just for a second. When she opened them again, something had changed. Not hope. Decision. If you do this, she said, there will be no turning back. He nodded. Figured. Her hand trembled as she reached out and gripped his sleeve. Strength flickered there, fading, but real. Then hear me, she said. I withdraw my request. He met her gaze. For death. For mercy, she replied. I will accept survival if you stand with me. He didn't hesitate. Okay, he said. Then we move. Quietly. He activated the hidden channel. Far away, in places the palace did not monitor, human systems stirred. And in the dark corridor, the queen did not die. The signal left his wrist unit without sound. No alarm. No confirmation tone. Just a brief vibration against his skin, like a heartbeat that was not his own. The human exhaled slowly. It's done, he said. The queen watched his face, reading it the way she had read generals and diplomats for most of her life. She saw fear there. Real fear. But beneath it, something harder. Commitment. What did you call? She asked. People who don't ask questions first, he replied. And who don't report to anyone in this building. Her grip tightened on his sleeve. You should have run. He shook his head. Too late now. Her breathing worsened. The bandages slowed the bleeding, but not enough. Her body trembled as shock crept in, cold and heavy. She had felt this before. On battlefields. In evacuation chambers. She knew the edge well. Listen to me, she said, voice low and urgent. If they realize I still live, they will seal this sector. They will purge everyone inside it. Including you. He swallowed. How long do we have? Minutes, she answered. Perhaps less. He looked down the corridor in both directions. One path led deeper into forgotten service tunnels. The other curved back toward the palace heart. Lights flickered overhead. They'll expect you to go down, he muttered. Hide. Bleed out quietly. Her lips twitched. They know me. Good, he said. Then we won't. He slid an arm under her shoulder and tried to lift her. Pain tore through her, sharp enough to steal her breath. She cried out despite herself, claws digging into his back. I'm sorry, he said quickly, adjusting his grip. I've got you. Just hold on. She did not know how such a small being could carry her weight. But he did. Step by step. Slowly. Every movement cost him effort, but he did not stop. They moved away from the palace core. Down. The air grew colder. Older. The walls changed from polished metal to rough alloy plates marked with human symbols and faded hazard lines. This section was built by humans, she murmured. Yeah, he said. Long before your people trusted us. Her eyes darkened. They never trusted you. He did not argue. A distant sound echoed behind them. Boots. Ordered. Controlled. Not searching yet. Hunting. Her body weakened further. She could feel systems failing inside her. Pain faded into a dangerous calm. Human, she whispered. If I fall unconscious, do not stop. I won't. If I stop breathing. I won't stop, he repeated, louder now. Don't do this. She forced her eyes open and looked at him fully. You should know, she said, why they betrayed me. He said nothing, but listened. I refuse to authorize extermination, she continued. A border species. Weak. Inconvenient. Profitable to erase. Her fingers curled weakly. I delayed. Investigated. Negotiated. That was enough to mark me. He felt something twist in his chest. So they chose survival, he said bitterly. They chose comfort, she corrected. Survival without conscience. The tunnel widened ahead into a circular chamber. Old transport hub. Decommissioned. Human markings everywhere. He lowered her carefully against the wall and checked the corridor behind them. The sound of boots was closer now. Okay, he whispered. This is where it gets ugly. She managed a faint smile. You mean worse. He pressed his wrist unit again. This time, he spoke. Package is alive, he said softly. Critical condition. Betrayal confirmed. A pause. Then a calm human voice replied, distorted but steady. Understood. Hold position. Do not engage. Her eyes widened. They answered, she breathed. They always do, he said. The lights in the chamber dimmed further. Then something shifted in the air. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just wrong. The sound of boots stopped. Silence stretched. The Queen felt it then. A pressure. Not on her body, but on the space itself. Like a held breath the size of a city. What did you bring here? She whispered. He didn't answer. Because the answer arrived on its own. The corridor behind them darkened completely. And something human moved inside the dark, quietly, deliberately, cutting the palace off from itself. The dark did not rush them. It settled. The Queen felt it like a weight lifting and pressing at the same time. The air changed. Sounds became soft, distant, as if the palace itself had decided not to listen anymore. The human stood between her and the corridor, shoulders tight, breathing controlled. He did not look surprised. Only focused. From the darkness came shapes. Human shapes. Not soldiers in polished armor. No banners. No insignia. Just figures in dull gear that swallowed light instead of reflecting it. They moved without hurry, without noise, each step placed with care. They did not look at the Queen first. They looked at him. One of them raised a hand slightly. A question without words. He nodded once. She's alive, he said. Barely. Only then did they turn their attention to her. The Queen had faced fleets without flinching. She had stared down predators that fed on fear. Yet something about these humans made her grip the wall harder. They did not hate her. They did not revere her. They assessed. One of them knelt beside her. A woman, judging by the voice. Calm. Professional. Your Majesty, she said, not mocking, not submissive. Permission to treat. The Queen hesitated. The human glanced back at her. They are with me. That was enough. She gave a small nod. Medical tools unfolded silently. Lights adjusted to her biology without being told. Hands moved with confidence born of practice, not theory. Pain returned in sharp flashes as stabilizers were injected and internal bleeding slowed. She gasped, claws digging into the floor. Easy, the medic said. Stay with us. The Queen laughed weakly. I was told humans were reckless. The medic's mouth curved just a little. Only when it matters. The boots in the distance returned, but closer now. The palace was moving again, unaware that parts of it were already gone. They are sealing sections, one human said quietly, voice coming through the darkness. Trying to box us in. Another replied, let them. The Queen lifted her head. If they trap you here, they will claim you acted alone. Criminals. Terrorists. The first human shrugged. That narrative won't last. The medic finished her work and looked at the man who had found the Queen. She'll live, she said. If we move now. He released a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. How? The Queen asked. Every exit will be watched. A human behind them tapped the wall. Once. Twice. A section of metal shifted. A door appeared where there had been none. Human infrastructure, the man said. We built redundancies they never mapped. The Queen stared. You planned this? He met her eyes. We planned for the possibility that someone decent might need help. The door opened into a narrow passage filled with old cables and dim guide lights. Cold air rushed through. As they moved her onto a stretcher, the palace alarms finally sounded. Too late. Shouts echoed far away. Orders barked. Systems tried to reassert control, and failed. The Queen felt the palace slipping from her awareness, piece by piece. Human, she said weakly, as they carried her into the passage. They will not forgive this. He walked beside her, close enough that she could see his face. We didn't do this for forgiveness. She studied him, then closed her eyes. The passage led down, then deeper, then out of the palace entirely. into tunnels that did not belong to the crown. As they moved, messages spread through secure channels across human space. Not loud ones. Not public ones. Simple confirmations. Assets secured. Betrayal verified. Non-hostile extraction in progress. Far above them, the traitors gathered in council chambers, confident the queen was dead. They spoke carefully. Calmly. Already dividing power. They did not notice when trade systems stalled. When communications lagged. When quiet human stations stopped responding to palace authority. They mistook silence for weakness. The queen drifted in and out of awareness. In one moment of clarity, she gripped the human's hand. "You will burn everything," she whispered. "For me." He shook his head gently. "No." She frowned, confused. "We'll just stop holding it together for them." Her eyes widened slightly. Then the drugs pulled her under again. As the humans vanished into their hidden roots, the palace stood tall and proud, unaware that the foundation beneath it had already cracked. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy moved without the queen. It would soon learn what that meant. She woke to quiet. Not the cold silence of betrayal, but a soft one, steady, controlled, alive. The queen opened her eyes slowly. White light greeted her, warm and even. The air smelled clean. Human clean. Filters humming gently, not the sharp sterile bite of palace medbays. She tried to move. Pain answered, but distant, managed. "You're awake," a voice said. The human sat nearby, sleeves rolled up, eyes tired but alert. He smiled when he saw her looking at him. Not wide. Not proud. Just relieved. "You're safe," he added. She searched her memory. The corridor. The blood. The darkness that moved like thought. "You lied," she said softly. He raised an eyebrow. "About what?" "You did not simply refuse to abandon me," she replied. "You moved history." He exhaled and leaned back. "That depends on how loudly the galaxy listens." She pushed herself up slightly, supported by cushions and unseen systems. Screens lit as her vitals stabilized. "Where am I?" she asked. "Human space," he said. "Quiet edge. Not a base. Not a capital. Somewhere no one important ever looks." Her lips curved faintly. "That seems to be your specialty." His smile faded. "They announced your death an hour ago." She closed her eyes. So it had begun. "They will crown another," she said. "They will say I grew weak. That I endangered stability." "They already are," he replied. "But it's not going the way they planned." She opened her eyes again. "Explain." He stood and tapped a screen. News feeds bloomed, fragmented, confused. Trade lanes delayed. Treaties paused. Resource flows rerouted. Nothing dramatic. Nothing violent. Just absent. "You see," he said, "humans did a lot of boring work for your empire. Accounting. Routing. Infrastructure maintenance. Conflict mediation that never made the news." She stared at the data. "You withdrew it," she said. "We stopped correcting mistakes," he replied. "Stopped filling gaps. Stopped smoothing edges." Her breath caught. "That will destabilize entire regions." He nodded. "Yes. Millions could suffer." He met her gaze evenly. "They already were." Quietly. She looked away. For a long time, neither spoke. Finally, she said, "They will blame you." Eventually, he agreed. "But not yet. First they'll blame each other." She laughed then. A real laugh. Weak, but genuine. "I spent my reign preventing this," she said. "Holding them together. Absorbing blame. Standing between greed and consequence." "And they stabbed you for it," he said. "Yes." Silence returned. "What will you do now?" he asked. She considered the question carefully. "My empire believes me dead," she said. "If I return openly, there will be civil war. If I stay hidden, the council will tear itself apart." He waited. "I will not reclaim my throne," she continued. "Not yet." He nodded slowly. "That tracks." "But I will speak," she added. When the damage becomes undeniable. When the truth can no longer be buried. She looked at him then, eyes sharp despite her injuries. And when I do, I will tell them who saved me. He stiffened. That may complicate things. She smiled. You already accepted that. He sighed. Yeah. Guess I did. Days passed. The Queen healed. The galaxy trembled, not from war, but from neglect. Supply chains failed. Old grudges reignited. Councils argued without resolution. Humans did not attack. They did not threaten. They simply remained absent. Observers began to notice a pattern. Where humans withdrew, instability followed. Where humans remained neutral, systems held. The myth cracked. Humans were not weak helpers. They were load-bearing. At last, the Queen was ready. Her message went out on every channel that once carried her voice. Unfiltered. Unedited. I live, she said. The galaxy froze. I was betrayed for refusing genocide. For choosing conscience over convenience. Panic spread. I was saved by a human who owed me nothing, she continued. And by others who asked no reward. Councils scrambled. Leaders denied. Accusations flew. She did not stop. You feared humans because you believed them emotional. Impulsive. Dangerous. Her gaze hardened. You were wrong. Humans are dangerous because they stay. She ended the transmission with one final truth. I will return when my people are ready to be led, not served. The message ended. In the quiet room, she looked at the human. You could have let me die, she said. He shrugged. Didn't feel right. She inclined her head, not as a queen, but as a survivor. Then know this, she said. Empires will fall because of what you did. He gave a tired smile. Wouldn't be the first time. And somewhere between stars and silence, the galaxy finally understood. Humans do not rule. They do not conquer. But when they choose to stand beside someone, the universe rearranges itself to make room.